Welcome everyone back to our YouTube channel where we talk about all things Facebook ads related. We are a Facebook ads agency and we're helping clients succeed and see results on Facebook and Instagram advertising. So if you haven't been to our channel before, that's exactly what we talk about. Now today our topic is going to be how to make mobile first content for your Facebook ads. So mobile first content just means that it can be viewed and optimized for a mobile device. We all know that most people are seeing content and scrolling Instagram, scrolling on Facebook on a mobile device. So you always want to make sure that your content actually fits that placement. Now, in terms of images versus videos, always test out to see which one works for you. I found that right in the beginning of my Facebook ads journey, I found it hard to see results with videos just because I didn't really know what to do inside of a video or how to make it to actually get the results that you wanted. So today's video will definitely help, but also images and carousels can get really low cost per result. So always try that out. When you say mobile first content, it doesn't necessarily just mean video. It just means that you're optimizing your content in your Facebook ads for a mobile device. So just something I want to clear before we get started. And anytime I say Facebook ads, I also mean Instagram ads because Facebook owns Instagram. So let's actually just dive right into it. So let's first talk about aspect ratio. When you're thinking about the size that you're going to make your content, you always want to think about making it as big as you can while it appears on someone else's timeline. So in the past, what the biggest format was the 1:1 ratio, which is 1080 by 1080 pixels. So that would be just a square format, and that used to take up the most room. Now recently, probably within the last year, available for Facebook and Instagram ads is the 4:5 ratio. When you bring it to pixels, that's 1200 by 1500 pixels. That's just a little bit bigger than a square vertically. Now, what this does is it takes up as much room as possible while that person is scrolling without cutting off anything. So for example, if you make a video that is for a story at a 9:16 ratio, just 1920 by 1080 pixels, when you bring it to a Facebook feed placement, it's actually going to cut it off. Now, at a 4:5 ratio, it actually stays that size on both news feeds, Instagram and Facebook, which makes it a great size whether you're going to be advertising on stories as a placement, the news feed. And what I would actually recommend doing is just resizing that same image to fit a square. And then once you have that square, you can see in what placements it would actually end up looking better than just your 4:5 ratio. So for example, right column, marketplace, for example, are two spots where the square might fit better. But if we're thinking about a mobile first content, the 4:5 ratio is going to work best across most placements. Now, if you want to go mobile first for stories, because most people are going to be watching it on their mobile device, you can either keep your 4:5 ratio and then just change the background color so that it matches the content inside of your image or your video, or you can actually resize that same image or that same video to fit a 9:16 ratio, which is 1920 by 1080 pixels. And that will ensure that you take up the full length of the stories when the person is watching it on their mobile device or on the desktop as well, since that is also the same ratio. But if you have low cost production, you're keeping it very minimal, the best size, from my experience, is just to keep that 4:5 ratio because it's still going to be bigger than a square when it shows up on someone's stories. Now, if you're making a 4:5 ratio, then you upload it to Ads Manager and you're getting an error on some of your ads saying that you have to change the video to fit that placement, just try refreshing the page or duplicating that ad, because sometimes it will say that it works and sometimes it say that it won't. And I think it's just like a little bug that Facebook has right now. So if that does happen, then just refresh it or duplicate it and keep going on with creating your ads. All right, the second thing you want to make sure that you are doing for your mobile first content is to make sure your logo shows up in the first 5 seconds of your video, or that it's definitely on your image when you're creating that content. The chances of someone actually watching further than 5 seconds is possible, but it's not likely. So you want to make sure to increase that brand awareness and to make sure that they see your logo within that first 5 seconds. All right, so the third one is that you want to make sure your videos are between 5 to 15 seconds. Although Facebook does allow you to create videos up to 2 minutes, the chances of someone watching it up to 2 minutes, although again, possible, not really likely, right? Our attention span now is so much shorter than it used to be, and the chances of someone actually watching past that 15-second mark is pretty slim, especially if you're just starting to create videos or if you're just getting into Facebook ads and you don't necessarily know the ins and outs of creating a perfect video that's really going to catch someone's attention. You want to make sure you're keeping it within the keeping it in the 5 to 15 second range and get those points across as soon as possible. In that first 5 seconds, like I said in the last point, you want to show the logo, but you also want to tell them what exactly this post is about, the main points, and give them value as soon as possible. This isn't a movie here, so make sure that right at the beginning you're showing them the main content and what the video is going to be about. Also, if you don't have any content to actually make a video, what you can do is just turn your images into a video. So animate some text that's going to move, make the background change and just have the text overlaid on the top of it. Make it so there's some sort of animation in the image to turn it into a video. We often use Canva to edit images and even short videos that we're making for our clients. And you can easily add an animation that just rolls into text or blows up everything before it just settles in straight. So that's a really great way to turn your just regular images into a video. Now, if you don't have Canva or if you don't have a photo editing software, you can also use Facebook's slideshow feature where it'll ask you to insert a couple of images and it'll actually make the video for you. It has a couple different templates that you can choose from, and it actually makes pretty nice little slideshow videos. But if you want something a little bit more personalized for your specific brand, then you could use Canva or something else like Camtasia or Adobe. All right, so next would be to create your videos with the intention that the person watching it is going to watch it with the sound off. So especially for newsfeed, always make sure to either add subtitles, add some captions, or write on the video what it is that you're talking about so that the person can understand what it is without having to put the sound on. Now, on stories, this is a little bit different where most people are actually watching stories with the sound on. That's just the nature of it. But it's good to still have those captions in case they're not watching it with the sound on. Now, in order to add text to your video, you can either use a software like Adobe, Camtasia if you want something very basic, or if you want to get even more basic, you can actually just use the text feature in your Instagram stories to write the text on the screen. Not only does this make it so you don't have to pay for any software or, make anything too complex, but it makes it so your content looks very, very familiar. People are already used to seeing that text appear on stories. They're very familiar with it. And so when you use that feature for just a regular newsfeed video, people are so used to seeing it, it makes them want to actually watch it a little bit longer. This is also something that you'll see on TikTok videos, Snapchat stories. So it makes it a really simple way to catch your viewers' attention. Next, you always want to think about making fast and quick movements inside of your content so that it actually stops the person from scrolling on their feed. Most people, when they're scrolling on Instagram or Facebook, are just seeing still images, regular images on their news feed. So you want to make sure that your ad that you're actually paying money to have on their newsfeed is really going to stop their scroll and catch their attention. So one thing you can do for this is have quick scene changes or just different images, a quick slideshow, so that they can see a variety of content in a very short amount of time. So you can add that quick movement either with the background image, the actual video, or with text that appears on the screen so that you'll have big words popping up at the same speed that the person needs to read, and make sure that that text is very attention grabbing. But you really want to make sure that you have those very quick and fast movements. This brings me back to my other point that our attention span has gotten so short that these quick little movements really make our brain want to read or watch what is showing up on our newsfeed. A couple softwares that I use to make really quick movements. One is Life Lapse, which is basically a stop motion where you take a bunch of different images and it creates it into a video. So that makes really fun videos that have very fast movement and makes people want to stop and see what it is. So I would definitely recommend you guys check that out. Another one is CapCut. It is a video editing software that you can have just on your phone. It's an app, and what's great about it is that you can actually download it in 2K resolution, and there's no white labeling. So you won't see their logo. You don't have to put an ending to it that has their logo on it, which makes it really fun to create videos with. And the other one, of course, is Instagram stories and just using their editing tools to create quick little videos. All right, so that's basically it. Always something that you should be looking into and making sure that your content can be viewed and optimized for a mobile device. Yes, you're still gonna have some people who are on desktop, but the majority of those people are gonna be on a mobile device. Let's just quickly recap. First one, keep your aspect ratio at least in a square. I would honestly avoid the 16:9 ratio. That's the horizontal. It's not really a great size to have as content, although there is some placements that can take it. In most of those placements as well, you can have a square format. And a square format will allow you to show more of your ad rather than just a rectangle. Keep your aspect ratio at a 4:5 to take up as much room as possible on their newsfeed. The second is to expose your logo in the first 5 seconds of your content. You should also make sure that your videos are between 5 and 15 seconds long. And if you don't have a huge production budget, turn your images into either a slideshow video or animate the text that's on the ad so that it turns into a video. Always assume your viewers are going to be watching your content with the sound off. So either make subtitles, add some text to the screen, and you can also, as a tip I said, you could use that Instagram text to even familiarize your audience with that content that you're putting out because it looks very similar to what they see already on their stories and their newsfeed and other platforms as well. Make sure you always have quick and fast movements to catch that viewer's attention and make them actually want to stop that scroll because they're seeing so many other basic generic images on their newsfeed. And that's basically it. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. If you have any ideas or questions about Facebook advertising you want answered that maybe you haven't really found the answer to in other videos, drop a comment below. We also have a Facebook group called All Things Facebook Ads where we talk about all things Facebook ads, exactly. So if you want to join that group, I'll also put that link in the description below and you can join us in that. And we're a little community. You can ask your questions, we'll give you an answer, and you also can share some of the things that you're doing as well in your agency or in your business. That's all for today. Have a great one and we'll see you next week.